attitude of sports will be upheld by all spectators, players, and coaches, no matter what one's personal feelings or loyalties may be in this contest. The chain gang
Well, if we win, or if we get like stop it, then there's going to be some people that are second, third string coming in.
The spotter for the game is Connor Short. Sideline managers are Perry Pomeroy and
Do you know all of them by number?
Rock managers,
Sounds like John Kaiser.
And your
that one tall kid, blonde hair.
Welcome all the fans here from Gravette.
He used to have like a gallon of like tea and milk every day. Water or something. Yeah, I don't know. Most of the new people I don't know. Besides Flournoy's sister, her brother.
We serve Coca-Cola products, hot dogs, hamburgers, brats, potato pies, nachos, snow cones, hot chocolate, and coffee, plus an assortment of candies and chips. All proceeds go to Booster Club and support our school.
Well, it just depends on if
we're not getting anything.
If we how much we are donating.
Tonight we would like to thank some of our major sponsors.
Yeah, how bad we're being.
Everett Chevrolet, family owned and customer friendly.
If we're beating him, unless it's like
and PGTelco.com.
Okay, guys, just a second. I need to get.
PG Telco, helping connect families for over 100 years. To get your live stream of all the games, go to PGTelco.com.
Can you give me a test?
And thanks to all of our fans for your support for our student athletes in all sports. And don't forget that on Friday, September the 30th, our senior Wolves will be on the road to Pea Ridge to take on the Blackhawks with the kickoff set for 7 o'clock p.m. And our pack of junior Wolves will be hosting Pea Ridge here at home for Thursday night's game on the 29th. The 7th graders will start at 5:30 and the juniors at 7 o'clock. And now back to the twos.
Test 1, 2, 3. That's it. 1, 2, 3. Test 1, 2, 3. Test. Good. Okay. Wait, are we live right now? Yeah, we're live. Oh, okay. right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome once again back to the live broadcast of Lion Letterman Gravette Lion Football. Once again, Ethan McKenzie with Grayson Brown.
Hello.
Alongside me. It is week 4 in the 2016 season, opening week of conference for the Gravette Lions. Coming into this game, Gravette being 2-1, winning 2 non-conference games against Ozark and Jay Oklahoma, dropping that disappointing loss to Boonville in week 2. Lincoln comes into this game with a record of 1-2, both defeats coming from schools across the state border in Oklahoma, of Westville and I believe, I want to say Vian, I may be wrong, and picking up a win last week against Mansfield. So either way, new season for both teams coming in, 0-0 record, and now it's all about playing for playoff seedings. So a little recap of last week. Gravette obviously high-scoring ball game, high-scoring affair. Not very many mistakes made. Obviously made less than the other team, coming out with a win. How important is that last non-conference win coming into conference play, Grayson?
I really think it sets the pace for this game. It's basically a fresh start for us. I think Coach Harrelson's got what he wants to do. Really got it down. They've been practicing hard. Definitely, I know they've been practicing hard this week. So I think tonight they're definitely expecting the win.
For sure. Obviously Lincoln coming in with only 21 players tonight, so possibly depth could be an issue for them, as Gravette has near 50, and also just obviously looking at the competition, different competition that Gravette has played in non-conference. That's the reason why Coach Harrelson schedules schools like he does in non-conference to get the Lions ready for that conference play, have them up and ready to go. So we're about 2 minutes away from kickoff. Captains waiting to take the field. We're waiting for Lincoln's captains to actually get to their 50-yard line. Gravette donning the orange pants, white jersey tonight. Lincoln coming out in almost charcoal gray with some maroon on it. Before the game gets rolling, once again, always a huge thank you to our sponsors, as Gravette Athletic Booster Club and Arvest Bank and Gravette, for allowing this to happen. We appreciate you guys. And also at this time, it's something we could always point out, as you know, Casey Russell, a young man that was taken from us far too soon. His helmet is bronzed. His helmet travels to every game. Today marks the 7-year anniversary of losing him, but always know that his spirit is with us, and that will never leave the sideline. I don't believe as long as Coach Harrelson is here. He is missed, but once again, always that spirit, always with us. So the coin has been flipped. Whitecap looking at Gravette as if they have won the toss. And they have. Coach Harrelson tells Dylan Groover that we would like to defer if we win to the second half.
Tonight, I think with all the, energy, I know there's not many Gravette fans, but to me personally, I think Lincoln's probably one of my favorite games to play, especially when I played, because, I knew some people that went to Lincoln and, we were really close. So it's great to see how, especially the teamwork that it takes from both teams, good sportsmanship, which is always a good thing, in anything.
Yeah, Lincoln, was a long-time conference game for Gravette, in the early 90s, or all through the 90s, I believe, and early 2000s. Left the conference for a little bit. I believe that was after 2005 they left, and I graduated in 2009. I think they came back in a couple of years after, and they've remained in the 1-4A since. So game clock is set. Gravette's kicking team is taking the field. Once again, Gravette did win the toss, deferred to the second half. So they will kick to the Wolves.
It's like instead of number 4, Roberto Barrios, we will have Chris Childress back. He was gone due to an injury, but he is back now and playing for us.
Yep. That's always good to get one of your main guys back, especially at the start of conference.
Yep.
So the referee blows the whistle. Childress is ready. And we're underway here in Lincoln. It's going to be taken at about the 11-yard line. Going to look for some room to run. He's going to bounce it to the outside a little bit. He's going to be slammed to the ground.
That was really good pursuit, especially for the first kickoff for the Lions. Hoping defense with last week of Jay, what a stop we had. Hopefully Coach Mobley and Coach Childress improved on that, and we can definitely take it to him tonight.
So number 15, Harrison Swain, will be the quarterback for the Wolves, the man calling all the shots. I believe he's a returning starter from last year. He's listed at 6'2", 185. So Lincoln's going to come out first play in shotgun formation. One man in the backfield with him. Doubles to each side. He's going to have motion from left to right. And we're going to have a false start, miscommunication by the Wolves on the first play of the game.
Definitely the first play of the game, especially with the offensive drive, that is not something you want to have at the start.
9 seconds gone from the game, and Lincoln's already committed a penalty. So call it 1st and 15 now. It's going to put the ball back inside the Lincoln 20-yard line. So once again, Swain back in shotgun, twins to each side. He's going to have motion from left to right again. Take the snap. They're going to look to pass. Little miscommunication there with the receiver, and I believe that was number 10, Brent Cruz, trying to throw the ball right there to Caleb Hale. So Lincoln coming out of the gates early with some, I guess you can call it trickery.
Yep.
Good job by Austin O'Brien, though, staying home for the Lions. So Lincoln likes to move fast. Back in shotgun formation, Swain, one man in the backfield with him, trips to his right, so the bottom of your screen. He's going to check back to the sideline now. Send one of his receivers over to his line. Take the snap. He's going to hand the ball off to number 44, Caleb Lloyd, but not before Brett Callahan's there to meet him before he gets back to the initial line of scrimmage.
It looks like to me that the Lions definitely worked on pursuit this week, probably watching film over Lincoln and seeing, how much momentum their backers have, and, if they can get him in the backfield, they're definitely going to stop him at the point.
So let's bring up 3rd and 16 for the Wolves. They're going to come out with twins to each side. He's going to motion his running back to his side. Take the snap and look to throw a screen. He's got a little bit of room to run. Austin O'Brien splitting the difference there between those linemen and making the tackle. So good play by O'Brien. That'll bring up 4th down for the Wolves.
I don't think they were expecting that. Austin O'Brien, I've talked plenty of times, just dipped his shoulder into that one and definitely got a hold on to him.
Lincoln staying conservative there on 3rd down. So they'll go back in punt formation. Their first possession, if they're suing on the punt, Lincoln will go 3 and out. Brady Mormon back deep for the Lions, end over end kick. He's going to call everybody away from it, and Lincoln's going to down it just inside the 40 at about the Gravette 37-yard line. So Gravette will take over from there on their first offensive possession.
I think with the momentum we just set for the first offensive drive by the Wolves, that, we're good on defense so far, unless we give up, which I hope we're not going to. But hopefully offense we can do, as good as we did on defense just now.
So Gravette's first possession on offense, once again, number 11, Kilby Roberts is your man at quarterback. He's going to come out. It looks like 2 tight ends set, one receiver to each side. He's going to take the snap and look to throw. It's going to be caught by number 10, Austin O'Brien, right across the middle of the field.
That was a beautiful pass. That was straight to him.
Yep. So first play from scrimmage, Gravette goes 20 yards through the air. I believe that was Cody Deaton in the backfield with Roberts. So waiting on the chains to set here. Gravette trying to move quickly. Roberts in a pistol shotgun formation. O'Brien behind him in the backfield. I believe that's Deaton, your H-back. He motions from right to left. Roberts going to take snap, hand it off to O'Brien. O'Brien's going to pick up about 2 there. So bring up second down. Gravette quickly back up on the line. Roberts has twins to each side. O'Brien in the backfield with him. He's going to take the snap. He's going to hand it right back off to O'Brien. He's going to make one cut. He's going to fall forward for about a gain of 5 there, so it's going to bring up third down for the Lions.
You know, it definitely looks like Coach Harrelson is leaning on running up the middle, tonight, when last week it was really outside running and outside passing that got us the win. So we'll see how this goes so far. It's gone pretty good so far.
It's usually good whenever you can run in between the tackles and pick up positive yardage. So third down here for Gravette. Robert's going to have trips to his right side. He's going to give a hard count, try to get the defense to draw off sides, and there is a flag on the play. I believe a Lincoln defensive lineman jumped into the zone and wasn't able to get back. So Gravette's going to get the free 5 yards and a new set of downs. First and 10 here. Roberts coming back out. O'Brien in the backfield with him. Trips to his right, top of your screen. Mason Martinez, the lone receiver at the bottom. Roberts is going to tech it himself. He's going to pick up about 5, but there is a flag thrown at the point of where he went down. Normally that's going to go against the offense, but we'll wait and see. So that's going to be holding against the Lions. It's going to be a 10-yard foul. And we'll replay first down. So Roberts back in shotgun. Deaton, his H-back back there with him, trips to his right. He's going to take the snap and look to throw immediately, and it's going to be complete to Mason Martinez. He's going to get back to the initial line of scrimmage there for the Lions. So good little pitch and catch there for Gravette.
You know, it's definitely one thing that the Kilby and the receivers work on is passing. You know, I know after practice they go out, run routes to get stronger on that, and that definitely pays off in games.
And right now in week 4, you know, a lot of the timing should be down by now. So once again, Roberts back in shotgun. O'Brien, solo receiver to the bottom of your screen. Roberts is going to take the snap and look to get it to O'Brien. He's going to make one-man miss, and he's going to try to race to the end zone. And it looks like he's going to step out about the 1-yard line. Oh, never mind. They're going to mark him out at the 5 instead of the 1. So once again, Coach Harrelson utilizing O'Brien's athletic ability and his ways of working out in space.
Yeah, you know, I don't think the corner out there, you know, really predicted how fast he was going to be. It looked like he tripped him up a little bit, confused on which way he was going to go.
Yep. So first and goal for Gravette from about the 5-yard line. Gravette's going to bring in their jumbo set. That's Bailey Soule in the backfield. Roberts is going to take snap and open it up to him. Soule's going to go up and over.
You know, every time Bailey Soule jumps, I just can't remember. His brother Jackson Soule did the exact same thing. You know, it's just really funny how siblings tend to mimic each other in a way.
Call it a gain of about 2 now, so it'll be 2nd and 3 for the Lions. They're going to keep that jumbo set in there. Soule is your back. Roberts is going to take it this time, open up to his left, and hand it right off to Soule, and he's going to lower his shoulder, and he's in.
Yeah, that is definitely a way to start off the first quarter. You know, with really just moving down the field, except for that holding penalty. Just moving back down the field, you know, getting the touchdown. So hopefully we can keep this momentum up all night tonight.
Yep. So Gravette strikes on their first offensive possession of the night. 7:37 to go in the first quarter. Pending PAT here by Chris Childress, his first week back. Good snap, good clean hold, kicks up, and it's good. So Gravette takes a 7-0 lead in the first quarter. 7:37 remaining when we come back.
You know, and for coming back with a leg injury, Chris Childress actually, you know, so far has done a really good job, especially with the kickoff and the PAT.
So after the Gravette touchdown, Chris Childress on to kick it away for the Lions. Childress gets the signal and he's ready to go. Good high kick. It's going to be fielded inside the 5-yard line by the Wolves. It's going to be taken by number 2 of the Wolves, and he's going to be stopped about the 20-yard line. So Lincoln will take over from there on their second offensive possession of the game. Gravette defense looking to go back to work.
You know, it looked like to me Callahan got a little excited there and, you know, got tripped up.
So Swain back on offense here. He's got trips to his right. One back joining him in the backfield. He's going to take the snap and hand it right back off. So once again, that's number 44, Caleb Lloyd, trying to run a sweep there to the outside, but the Gravette defensive pursuit just too good.
You know, I know that's one thing they focus on in practice is, you know, staying shoulder width or squared up to the line of scrimmage to be sure that no one gets through there, and that's exactly what they did just now.
So Lincoln up on the ball as soon as the play clock is put in. He's got trips to his right once again. Lloyd in the backfield with him. He's going to take the snap. He's going to fake it to Lloyd this time, pull it down and run it himself. He's going to pick up about 2 before Brady Mormon comes in to stop him there. So third down here for the Wolves. Call it 3rd and 8 here for the Wolves from their 22-yard line. Swain's going to have trips to his left this time. One man in the backfield with him, one receiver to his right at the bottom of your screen. He's going to take the snap. He's going to look to throw, but he's going to pull it down because Gunnar Berger and Drew Henry are in his grill.
You know, that is exactly the, you know, intensity that we need to see tonight, you know, especially with the defense doing so good. You know, it's always good to have just a little bit more, you know, than what expected. And Gunnar Berger and Drew Hendren definitely are delivering that tonight, you know, with the rest of everyone on the Lions.
Yeah, so Gravette's defense making its presence known the first 2 trips out on the field tonight. So Lincoln's forced to punt again on a 3 and out. They're about their own 15-yard line. Brady Mormon back deep to receive for Gravette. He's going to have a chance at this one, and he's going to call a fair catch at about the 40. Smart play by Mormon there, kind of out of control just to call the fair catch, and Gravette will take over from there.
I definitely think for the first conference game, you know, fresh start that we're, you know, I really don't have any complaints. I've seen, you know, everything going very, very well. You know, we're doing so good tonight. You know, I think this is going to be a good conference season for us.
So Gravette will take over with 5:33 remaining in the first quarter with a 7-point lead. Gravette's going to come out in a strong set. Deaton as your H-back, O'Brien, your running back. He's going to send Deaton in motion. He's going to try to get a sweep to O'Brien. O'Brien's going to make a cut, pick up about 5 there. O'Brien coming off a huge week last week at Jay. Looking to keep building on that momentum. Robert's going to come out in the pistol formation. Deaton your H-back, O'Brien behind him as your running back. He's going to take the snap, open it up, hand it off to O'Brien. He's going to have a first down there on about a pickup of 6 or 7 for the Lions, so move the chains once again. Robert's going to come out and shotgun again. O'Brien, the back near him. Twins to each side. He's going to take the snap, hand it off to O'Brien. Right through the tackle, right up the guard again. O'Brien's going to give some second effort. He's going to pick up another first down for Gravette inside the 20-yard line.
You know, as good as the backers are doing, I have to compliment the offensive line a little bit. You know, so far I've seen great blocking. You know, they're running, you know, everything perfect. You know, maybe if, you know, their guy went to another direction, you know, they see someone, maybe a linebacker, you know, they've gotten him pinned down.
So O'Brien's going to get a little breather here. After a couple of runs, that's Dylan Gruber checking in at running back. Robert's in shotgun formation. He's going to motion Brady Mormon from left to right. He's going to give it to him on the fly sweep. Going to make one cut. He's going to be brought down after about a gain of 7 or 8 for the Lions. So solid pickup there on first down. Second and 3 here for Gravette. Robertson shotgun formation. Gruber and Deaton in the backfield with him. Take snap, hand it right off to Gruber. Gruber's going to look to bounce it outside. That's going to bring up third and about 1.
It's like O'Brien's coming back in.
So Brian's going to check back in. He's kind of been the workhorse first 2 possessions here, just running in between the tackles and getting out in space and making moves. So Robert's going to come out in a strong formation here. O'Brien in the backfield. He's going to the 10-yard line. So the clock now under 3 minutes here in the first quarter. Gravette, first and goal. Roberts in a shotgun formation. He's going to motion O'Brien from left to right. Take the snap, fake it to O'Brien, put his head down. He's going to pick up about 3 there for Gravette. So 2nd and 5 to go here. Gravette looking to put 6 more up on the board. Gravette now out in an I formation. He's got 2 receivers to his right. He's going to open up, pitch it to O'Brien. O'Brien's going to bounce it to the outside and try to use his speed. He's going to run out of room and be brought down after about a gain of 1. So that's going to bring up third down for Gravette here. Big 3rd and goal. Here we go, play clock under 10 now for Gravette, rushing to the line. Roberts is going to come out in shotgun. He's by himself except for his H-back. O'Brien motion left to right. He's going to hand it to O'Brien. O'Brien's going to look to cut, and he's in the end zone for 6 more. But it looks like the Gravette was moving. We'll wait and see the call. Gravette sort of had to hurry there, rushing to the line. I don't think everybody was set before Roberts sent O'Brien into motion. So back Gravette up 5 yards here, and we'll replay third down.
You know, besides not all of them being set and ready, that was a really good play. You know, the backers did great. The the offensive line did great. You know, it's just a great play overall.
So Roberts comes out, grab it in I formation. He's going to fake it to O'Brien. He's going to throw it behind his intended receiver. I believe that's Deaton. So that's going to bring up 4th down, and Coach Harrelson is going to send the field goal unit out on the field. So about a 20-yarder here for Chris Childress. Gravette running their last man out on the field, realize they only have 10 on the field. Good snap, holds down, kicks up, and it is good. So with 57 seconds remaining in the first quarter, Gravette Lions 10, Lincoln 0.
You know, and I think if we play with the momentum we've had so far, the majority of the first quarter, you know, we've definitely got this win secured. You know, with them working hard this week, getting ready for conference, you know, this looks like something that's going to be, you know, really in sight is, you know, a conference win tonight. You know, no doubt that it's not going to happen, but, you know, anything can happen.
It's not the points Gravette wanted to come away with there. 7 would have been much better, but we'll take 3. Kicking team is out. Childress has it teed up. Childress is ready. It's the ref signal. Another good booming kick. It's going to take a Gravette bounce. The Lincoln receiver thought it was going to go into the end zone. Gravette's pursuit's going to be down there quickly. And he's bounced there on the Childress kick.
I definitely don't think the receiver of that knew if it was going to go out or not. You know, that's the thing about Chris. You know, he kicks it so high. You really can't determine, you know, where it's going to land exactly. So, you know, that's definitely good on our side to get our defenders down there and definitely get the stop.
So as you know, if it goes into the end zone, it is a dead ball. It will be a touchback. But you know, generous hop there for Gravette, and defense is back out on the field. So Lincoln will come out in an I formation this time.
This definitely doesn't put Lincoln in a good position either.
Swain's going to hand it off to his fullback, and he's going to lower his shoulder and keep his feet moving. Give him a little breathing room there. There's 33, Christian Crittenden on the carry for the Wolves. Lincoln's going to come back out in that I formation. One tight end. He's going to hand it off to his running back that time. Caleb Lloyd. Looks like he's going to pick up maybe 1 or 2 yards.
Like Brady Mormon on that. That was definitely a good read.
And that's going to bring us to the end of the first quarter. So here in Lincoln, Arkansas, your Gravette Lions at the end of the first, 10, Lincoln 0. Ball will swap ends of the field, and we'll rejoin you here shortly. So start of the second quarter here, Lincoln faces a 3rd and 1. About the 14-yard line. Just now tuning in, Gravette holds a 10-0 lead here to start of the second. Lincoln's going to come out in I formation, 2 tight end set, 1 receiver to the top of your screen. He's going to hand it off to his fullback. And depending on the spot, he kind of tripped up on his own feet. The referee is signaling to move the chains. So on the 3rd possession here for the Wolves, they avoid a 3 and out. So now Swain's going to be in shotgun. He's going to have twins to the top of your screen, 1 to the bottom. That's Lloyd in the backfield with him. He's going to turn and hand it off to Lloyd. He's going to get past the interior line of scrimmage and pick up about 2 for the Wolves. So Lincoln offense back up on the ball. Swain in shotgun. He's got twins to his left. He's going to hand the ball off to Lloyd, and Lloyd's going to be met at about the line of scrimmage on one of the Gravette defensive front. That's number 55.
Yeah, it's always a good thing about the Lions defense is we have so many big people in the front that, if they, try to run up middle and there's one gap, one of our defenders is going to get in there and blow it up.
That was Teichman on the tackle for Gravette. So Swain's going to come out on 3rd down, twins to each side. He's going to fake the Lloyd. Gravette defense is there. Bailey Soule is going to sack him.
It looked like the defense definitely saw that coming. That was beautiful.
So far tonight, Gravette dialing up pressure on 3rd down situations where they know Lincoln has to throw the ball on 3rd and 8s or more. So Lincoln in punt formation. Mormon back deep for Gravette in about the 40-yard line. Kick is away. Mormon's going to retreat back a couple of steps. He's going to have a chance to return it. He's going to get caught just a little bit, but he will get what he can. Ball comes out at the end, but the referee does blow it dead. It's pretty obvious his knee was on the ground. So Gravette has great field position once again. Gravette takes over here with 9:43 remaining in the second quarter. So if you're just tuning in, Gravette does have a 10-0 lead here over Lincoln. Robert's going to come out in a shotgun. He's going to have motion from left to right. That's Brady Mormon. He's going to fake to Mormon and O'Brien. Going to set up a screen. O'Brien has room to run, looking for one block. Going to make one move, and he's going to make the man miss, cut it back up towards the middle of the field. Still going, O'Brien is, and he's in the end zone.
That was absolutely beautiful. I think I've only seen that done, once, and that was last year. Looked like for a couple seconds, Nelson Payne was trying to block someone, but just ran straight past him. He still picked up someone, which definitely helped in the long run.
Yep, so Nelson Payne is getting his big body out there in space, and O'Brien just kind of being patient and waiting for him to seal that off. And then he makes a couple of moves, and he's athletic enough to get into the end zone for the Lions.
I think the field goal that we went for last offensive drive, I think Coach Harrelson definitely put this up to it.
Yep. So Childress in to attempt the PAT. Kick is up, and it is good. So 9:29, Gravette only running one play on that possession. Screen pass taken to the house by O'Brien. Gravette has a 17-0 lead.
I definitely know that play, is one that we've ran a lot, and it normally always works, especially with you know, our big offensive line, you know, we do have some fast people on the O-line, so it definitely pays off that the defenders definitely do not see, you know, a 6'2", 350-pound lineman coming in blocking them from the outside.
Play was set up earlier, as you know, when we ran that little sweep with Brady Mormon when he motioned from left to right into the backfield with Roberts and set that play up nicely with the play action. And, you know, that's a quarterback's best friend right there, the screen pass and getting it to your guy, and he's getting you that extra yardage. Not a hard throw, not an easy throw, but made it look easy there.
Yep.
Childress has the ball teed up, looking to kick it away for Gravette once again. Referee gives his signal. This kick will be a little bit shorter than the last two. It's going to be taken about the 12-yard line. That's 44. I believe that is Lloyd. He's going to put his shoulder down and get what he can before he's taken down there by a group of Lions at about the 33-yard line. So Lincoln will take over from there with 9:22 remaining in the second quarter.
It's like one of the Lions is hurt.
There is a Gravette player down. We can't tell who it is from where we are. I believe that's big number 72, Seth Spencer, getting help up to his feet. He is walking off the field, though. Sitting here listening to the assistant coach up here in the box with us, it appears his head got knocked around, but it's a good sign that he is up and walking off. So Lincoln will take over at about the 33-yard line here. 1st and 10. Swain's going to have twins to the top of your screen. He's going to take the snap. Quick little drop. Pass was intended for number 20, Braden Umberson.
Looked like he fumbled the ball there for a couple seconds.
And never obtained possession there. Turned his head upfield before he caught the football. So it'll be a 2nd and 10 for Lincoln. Here's Souley having some equipment malfunction, so we got to run in a substitute here. Referee having to reset the play clock due to the equipment. Swain will come back out in shotgun. That is Lloyd with him in the backfield. He's going to motion up beside him. Going to look to set up a screen, but it was well covered there by the Lions. Drew Hendren and Gunnar Berger read it very well.
Looked like if the quarterback wasn't paying attention, Callahan would have definitely blew him up.
Swain smartly just throws it at his intended receiver's feet. So bring up 3rd and 10 here for the Wolves. Swain's going to have twins to each side. That's Lloyd in the backfield with him. Lloyd's going to motion up next to him. He's going to take the snap. 3-step drop, looking to his left. Ball's going to be intended for number 20 again. That's Umerson. It's going to be thrown behind him, so it will be 4th and 10 for the Wolves. So Lincoln will come out in punt formation. Brady Mormon back deep to receive for the Lions, about the 36-yard line. End over end kick. Mormon's just going to let it go, and it's going to bounce out of bounds. Inside the 30, it looks like, depending on the spot. And Gravette will take over from there with 8:50 remaining in the second quarter. Gravette offense back out on the field. Haven't come away empty-handed yet on the offensive side of the ball, which is a good thing. Looking to add on more here. Roberts come out in shotgun. He's got twins to each side. That's O'Brien to his left in the backfield. Going to take the snap, fake it to O'Brien. Make one move, pick up about 2 there.
You know, it's definitely one thing that you know, is easily stressed, that this is going to be the way we set the tone for conference, you know, especially coming out here, doing good since, you know, the first play, just absolutely dominating so far.
So Roberts back in shotgun. That is Deaton in the backfield with him. He's got twins to each side. Looks like Gravette's going to move a little bit early. Lincoln showed as if they were going to bring pressure there, and one of the offensive linemen twitched right before the ball was snapped. So back us up 5 yards here. Still remains second down. Second about 12. O'Brien back in the backfield now with Roberts to his right. Twins to each side. Roberts going to take the snap, get it out to O'Brien. O'Brien's going to see what he can do. But Gravette's going to be stopped for a loss there, back at about the 20-yard line. So that's the first negative play for Gravette on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, it definitely looked like to me that there was a little bit of a time restraint on that. You know, looked like they the Lions didn't, you know that there were going to be 2 people out there. You know, it didn't look like to me that there was there might have been a offensive lineman that would have been coming out later to block, but you know, with that timing wasn't very good on that.
So Gravette in shotgun here, 3rd and 20 about. Lincoln's got 4 safeties. Roberts' throw is going to sail over the head of O'Brien.
Good call.
And there's going to be a late flag come in. O'Brien was popped towards the end of the play after the ball had already gone over his head. Looks like Gravette may get a free one here. So it will be a personal foul against the Wolves. So it appears it's going to remain 3rd down here for Gravette. They're going to come out I formation, 2 receivers to the top. He's going to pitch the ball to O'Brien. He's not going to be able to get it. So that'll bring up 4th down for Gravette. First time the punt team has to come out on the field.
You know, this late in the game, being up 17 points, for me, I think it's better to be punting, you know, now than in the first quarter, you know, maybe if we're down a couple points. So
Roberts is going to come back in punt formation for the first time tonight. 6:40 remaining in the first half. Gravette still possesses a 17-point lead. Gravette is short a man. Coach Harrelson's going to have to burn a timeout. So while we pause for a second, once again I want to thank our sponsors, the Gravette Athletic Booster Club and Arvest Bank in Gravette. Gravette has the right personnel out on the field this time, all 11 men. Roberts back in punt formation once again. Roberts gets the punt away. It's going to get a good roll for Gravette, and it's going to roll to inside the 20-yard line where Brandon Ballard will down it at about the 18 for the Lions.
You know, that little trip up on the offense for the Lions, this is definitely a time that the, you know, even though the defense has been doing good tonight, you know, this would be a time not to slip up, you know, because could cause, you know, a touchdown or something of that nature.
So for sure, Gravette looking to keep the momentum on the defensive side of the ball in their favor. So Lincoln will take over inside their own 20-yard line. Pierce Swain's going to have trips to his right. Lloyd in the backfield with him. Now he's going to send a man in motion from right to left. He's going to hand it off to Lloyd. He's going to have a little bit of running room. He's going to put his head down. Austin O'Brien, the corner, is there to stop him before he gets a first down. Good pickup, though, for the Wolves. Second and short here for the Wolves. Swain's going to have an H-back in the backfield with him. Lloyd also. Twins to the bottom of your screen. He's going to hand the ball off to Lloyd. Lloyd's going to bounce it to the outside. Childress is going to come up from his safety spot. Be the first initial contact, and Gruber's going to come in and help him clean it up. That will be good enough for a first down for the Wolves. Lincoln back up on the ball quickly. Swain with Twins to his right, solo receiver at the bottom. And a motion Lloyd beside him in the backfield. He's going to take it, quick hitch and throw here. That's number 20 again. Braden Umberson. Good pickup of about 7 or 8 there for the Wolves.
You know, it definitely looks like Lincoln is adjusting to, you know, our defensive line and how big they are, and, you know, attempting to get the ball, you know, out of the backfield as fast as they can.
Swain's going to have a man motion from his left to right. He's going to open up, hand it to Lloyd. Lloyd's going to put his head down, but he's going to be stuffed this time. Berger, Soule, and Teichman there to stop him in his tracks. So third down here for the Wolves. Oh, about third and a long 3 here. Swain in shotgun. Twins to his right. He's going to motion Lloyd beside him in the backfield. Going to take the snap once again. Look to his left. Great break on the ball by Brandon Ballard there. Almost had an easy pick six.
That would have been gone if he would have caught that. I can tell you that right now.
So Ballard right there realizing after done it a couple of times tonight, being smart and making a great break on the football. Either way, it'll bring up a fourth down for the Wolves. It appears they're going to keep the offense out on the field, possibly try to draw Gravette offsides or something.
That's what I'm thinking right now. Is they're going to try to get us offside with a hard count.
Lloyd's going to send a man in motion from left to right. He's going to take the snap, fake it to Lloyd, and pull it down himself. He's got some room to run before he's upended by Ballard. Stop it about midfield. So Lincoln moves the chains with 4 minutes and 20 seconds remaining in the half.
You know, I have to give props to Lincoln on that one. When I was seeing the offensive line, you know, made a pretty good wedge for him to run through and, you know, just get a, you know, not only the first down, but a couple extra yards after that.
Swain showing a little bit of burst of speed there too. So 1st and 10 from midfield for Lincoln. Swain's going to have twins to each side. Lloyd in the backfield with him. He's going to check to the sideline, see what his coach wants to audible to. Swain's going to take snap, fake to Lloyd, and get a quick little screen. That's number 20. That's Umerson again. That was Groover there on the tackle for the Lions. So 2nd and about 2 for the Wolves. So he's going to have H-back and Lloyd as his running back with him. Twins to the top of your screen. Going to take the snap, and he's going to look back to his left again on a hitch and go. But Ballard's there. There's a little bit of laundry in the backfield. It looks like Callahan, the 2nd man to retaliate. Looks like Whitecap saw him. Times like this, you got to keep your emotions in check.
Yeah. You know, and Callahan is definitely a very intense player, you know. Definitely has a passion for a game, so, you know, things can get a little out of hand, you know, with especially everyone on the team, but
we'll wait and see what the call is. I saw Callahan on the ground and a foot kind of fly up. When the flag came out, it appears the officials are going to back Lincoln up. So it will go against Gravette, and Callahan is disqualified for the game. Referee quick on that one.
you know, it's definitely not something that you want to happen, you know, especially for the first conference game, you know, especially with Callahan being a really intense player, you know, some of the emotions get a little bit high, you know, things get a little out of hand, but that, you know.
And that's big for Gravette's defense, because next week playing Pea Ridge, I believe Callahan has to miss. He can't play the whole game next week now, I believe. He's got to sit out the whole game for being disqualified.
Yep.
Nonetheless, keep your focus here on this game. It's 3:23 remaining in the half. Swain has trips to his right. One tight end to the left. Lloyd in the backfield with him. He's going to fake to Lloyd. Try to get a quick slant there to Umerson again, but Drew Henry gets his big hands, big wingspan up in the way, and tips the ball.
And the funny thing is, I think he's actually about 2 inches off from the wingspan of an orangutan. So
I'll bring up 2nd and 10 for the Wolves. Lloyd's going to motion next to Swain. He's going to look to his right to throw, and it's going to be thrown right to Brady Mormon. He's going to pick the pass off.
That was a beautiful pick. It looks like he threw it directly to him.
You know, once again, Brady Mormon going back to week 1, he had those 2 interceptions. He's very good at reading the quarterback's eyes that time right there. Swain staring at his receiver down the whole time.
You know, that's the good thing about Brady is his brother Bryce, which graduated last year. He was quarterbacks, you know. He could pick up a couple things, you know, about reads, you know, especially from, kind of after practice, I see them a lot, working together, when Bryce was still a senior at Gravette. So
look for Gravette possibly to go into a 2-minute offense here. 2:59 remaining in the half. 2 timeouts remaining. Roberts going to come out in a pistol set. O'Brien in the backfield with him. Hand the ball right off to O'Brien. O'Brien's going to make a spin move. It looks like he's going to have enough right at the sticks for a first down.
It looks like to me that the Lincoln defense, kind of underestimates, O'Brien a little. They know he's fast, but I don't think they know that when he gets going, he is very fast on his feet. He's able to turn and readjust, very, very quickly to get, a couple extra yards, after someone's got onto him.
So that's Deaton alongside Roberts down the backfield, twins to each side. Roberts going to take the snap, throw it. I believe that's Martinez on the reception. He's going to have about 9, close to the first down marker. Good pitch and catch there for the Lions on first down. Call it 2nd and inches. Plenty of time here for Gravette. Put 6 more up on the board. So once again, Roberts in shotgun formation. 2 men to each side. Deaton in the backfield with him. Roberts is going to take snap, pull it down, look to get the first down himself. And he will have it after a short pickup of about 3. Gravette moving quickly here. Roberts, Gruber lined up alongside him. He's going to take the snap, throw it out to Mormon. Mormon looking for his convoy. He's going to bounce off a couple of hits. Mormon's going to keep moving.
Yeah, that was, that's a good thing about, what's that flag for?
The late flag coming in about 10 yards away from where Mormon was brought down. So 10 yards from the spot of the foul. Gravette will replay first down.
That was definitely a run that Brady, definitely, juking out 2 of those guys, I would definitely be proud of. Definitely be a little brought down, that coming back by blocking the back.
So call it 1st and 12 here for Gravette. Play clock is winding. Roberts is going to have Deaton in the backfield with him. Motion O'Brien from right to left. He's going to take the snap. He's going to roll to left. Roberts' pass intended for Logan Rachel. A little high, but there is another flag on the play.
Like that might have been against Martinez on that one.
I don't believe Martinez was set when the ball was snapped. So illegal motion on Gravette, that's going to back him up. And Lincoln's going to decline the penalty. Make it 2nd down and 12. So 2nd and 12, 1 minute and 12 seconds remaining in the half. Roberts is going to come out. Deaton in the backfield with him is his H-back, trips to his right. O'Brien, the solo receiver. He's going to throw a quick slant to O'Brien. O'Brien's going to make 1-man miss, still dancing around out there. So a good pickup there for the Lions.
I don't think they expected, a solo man pass out there, especially with, O'Brien. They would think that, there would be someone out there blocking for him possibly, but nope.
Solo man letting O'Brien work against him. So once again, Roberts back in shotgun, trips to his right. Deaton in the backfield is his H-back. He's going to throw it out to O'Brien, let him work in space. O'Brien's going to make a move.
Yeah, it looked like to me,
shoved out of bounds.
that number 15 just went and attacked Brady Mormon right there for a couple seconds.
So O'Brien catching it and working on the outside, picking up about 9 for the Lions, bring up second down. 54 seconds remaining in the half. Gravette with 2 timeouts left and a 17-point lead. Roberts back in shotgun, twins to each side. Deaton in the backfield with him. He's going to take the snap, throw it to Rachel. Good break on the ball there by the Lincoln defender, and there's another flag on the play.
Looks like that might be called against Lincoln.
As you saw earlier, that Swain came after Brady Mormon
Yep.
on a play where the ball was nowhere near him, and possibly he did it again.
Yep. You know, that was wide open. I don't know how the refs could have missed that one. He definitely just tried to just hammer him.
So awaiting the call here. It is a personal foul on Lincoln.
Yep, looks like it was when 15 definitely tried to just hammer Brady Mormon.
Well, it's picked up on, and Gravette gets 15 free ones and a fresh set. So Gravette about the 15-yard line now. First down, 51 seconds remaining in the half. Roberts going to come out in shotgun. Deaton in the backfield with him. Looks like 2 tight end set. Mormon to the bottom of your screen. O'Brien at the top. Roberts is going to take the snap, look O'Brien's way on a slant and go. O'Brien had his man beat. Ball a little underthrown.
Yep.
To where O'Brien couldn't make the right adjustment with it. So second down for Gravette here. So Roberts in the backfield by himself. Deaton is H-back up tight. He's going to take the snap, look to throw. I believe that is Childress. Childress is going to catch the pass, make one man miss. Flag comes in late where Childress made a move. It appears that'll probably be a block in the back on Gravette.
Yep.
So Gravette starting to get sloppy here with the flag starting to come against them. Really killing this drive here before halftime.
You know, as close we are to scoring, it's definitely not something you want to give up with the penalties, you know, getting sloppy. Definitely something you want to keep, you know, down to a minimum. You know, it really just takes them back to where they were because Childress was in the end zone, it looked like, when they called that.
Childress definitely giving second effort. Not really sure where he was. He was close.
Yeah, very close.
So call it second down again for Gravette, second and about 11. Roberts is going to have Deaton and O'Brien join him in the backfield. Going to fake to O'Brien. He's going to set up a screen this time to Deaton.
Looks like one of the Lincoln players got a little rough with, looks like number 75. I think that's Joel Feelick.
So Deaton needing one block right there before he could turn upfield. Didn't get it. Looks like he got stopped at the line of scrimmage, so it'll be 3rd and 12 now. Gravette takes their second time out of the half. That's 26 seconds remaining now to go until halftime.
You know, it seems to me that Lincoln's trying to pull some risky moves, you know, with number 15 and that hit against Brady Mormon. And then this, you know, it looked like Joe Feelick and one of them got into. You know, it's kind of risky, especially when they're, you know, down 17 points. So, you know, be pulling this right now.
Say 3rd and about 14 here for Gravette. Robert's going to have O'Brien with him in the backfield. Childress, your lone receiver at the top of your screen. He's going to roll that way towards Childress. Childress is going to throw on the brakes for a comeback route. ball a little high for Childress to handle, so that'll bring up fourth down for Gravette.
For a field goal attempt, I'm going to guess.
It looks like Chris Childress will attempt his second field goal of the night. This one a little bit further than his first attempt.
You know, I remember in practice one day on Thursdays, you know, we always go out to the field and, you know, just run over stuff. And I think he almost got, you know, maybe, I think it was a 40.
This will be about a 30-yard attempt for Childress. Good clean snap. Kick is up. It's got the distance, and it is good. So Childress' 37-yard attempt is good. That gives Gravette a 20-point lead now.
You know, Childress, he definitely, you know, has the leg strength, you know, and especially coming back from, you know, leg injury. It's you know, really great to see, you know, all this effort or, you know, all this kicking, you know, especially, you know, coming right off the leg injury after I said.
So 16 seconds remaining until halftime after Childress' second field goal of the night. Gravette does have a 20-point lead over the Wolves. It was Gravette 20, Lincoln 0. I would imagine Childress will boot it deep right here again. Try to pin Lincoln deep so they can't make anything happen with little time to go before halftime. Childress is going to squib it. It's going to take a little roll, and it's going to go out of bounds at about the 20. So Lincoln will have 16 seconds remaining. Take over at the 35-yard line. They do have all three timeouts. Be interesting to see what they do here. Looks like Lincoln is just going to come out in the victory formation and let the clock run out here to halftime. Swain's just going to take a knee and flip the ball to the referee, and we'll head to half. So at the end of two quarters, Gravette Lions 20, Lincoln 0. When we come back, we'll talk about the first half and what to expect to the second half. So we'll rejoin you here shortly after halftime.
squad, 2016-17.
Yeah, we're good.
Ladies and gentlemen, Gravette High School proudly presents the Gravette High School Marching Band. The band is under the field direction of senior drum major Michael Wallace. Tonight, the band presents a preview of their 2016 marching show entitled Run. And now, the Gravette High School Marching Band.
gonna pull out.
Somebody's gonna, yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the field the Lincoln High School Marching Band. The band is under the direction of Andrew Enos, and the color guard coordinator is Mia Cormadia. The band is under the field direction of drum major Seth Lane and assistant drum major Brenda Hutchins. Tonight, they will play the opener to our 2016 field production, The Music of Queen. So sit back and relax and enjoy the 80s Queen music.
And it seems like you got less people here. And there's less people watching. That's weird. Reason I'm about to go into it. That was right. There you go. Be a whole lot skinnier if I could convince myself it was okay to pay for water. Yeah. Just goes against my delicate sensibilities.
I quit drinking Cokes and stuff when I was about
And
an 8th
there they
grader.
are, ladies and gentlemen.
So I played all
the
three.
Lincoln High School Band.
So I was like, all right, because I used to be bad. I used to drink them all the time.
What?
Cokes and stuff. And I finally just told my mom, I was like, quit bringing them home. And I've had, I mean, obviously I've had some, but all the way
But
from
you
8th,
can say basically you've been off of.
all the way from 8th grade until I was done in college playing baseball.
We cut the boys off when they were 4 and 5, 5 and 3. My youngest, he's a freshman now. He can drink a Sprite. If he drinks a Coca-Cola or a Pepsi,
Wired.
he gets his stomach, he gets sick to his stomach.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, I never got it even as a kid and a teenager. Like, it was rare. So that's my problem. Like, I went to college where all of a sudden I was on a food plan. And I could go down to that cafeteria all I want and get all the free refills I wanted.
Really?
Like, it was. And so that was my problem. Like, I became seriously addicted in college.
I do have a bad sweet tea habit, though. I'll admit to that. I'm bad about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am too. And I quit. I didn't smoke for Copenhagen for 15 years, 20 years. I quit 3 months ago.
Oh, wow.
4 months ago.
How's that going?
I eat a lot.
When I was in college,
I did a can of Copenhagen today. I wake up going in and
Still a little cheaper than a cigarette habit, but not
Yeah.
much, right?
not much.
not a whole lot.
Say, whenever I was still playing baseball in college, would you go to like Mississippi?
everybody load up.
and it was like $2. So we were like, I want 10.
I would stop at, when I go to Branson, there's a little gas station when you turn right, headed down to Roy River. I can stop there and buy the Copenhagen, cans of Copenhagen for $1.25. And I'd buy $40 worth. Put it in my freezer and just let it go.
Usually what I give my dad for Christmas.
It's a problem. The problem with it is though, is it's like anything else. If you have more money, you spend more money. If you have more Copenhagen, you get more Coke.
Yeah, with all that in your freezer, I guess. It's very easy to just know there's more right over there.
Do you care to do me a favor? Like when the play's going, do you care to just do this thing? I'll start it, stop it, all that crap. But I'm trying to do this. They're not gonna use this
Is
at
that what
all.
you were trying to tell me earlier?
Yeah.
Okay, I was like, what?
We're not gonna really use it at all. That's why I'm doing this. But to get this, you gotta have that. And you may want to send this as the exchange puddle film.
Yeah, if you see me slide off your shit.
No, I just. Next time I'll set it up because that tripod swivels really easily. This one doesn't. I'm impressed with the turnout there. You know what?
I thought we had more people in J last week. We had,
I don't know.
You know, like,
we had more people watching, and more people it felt like in attendance. It was weird. What? Yeah.
the worst part about like our stadium in Gravette, it never looks like the bleachers are full because everybody's on them. Yeah. I mean, I know, the first year that stadium was built, my junior year, you couldn't find a seat anywhere. Like even on the hill, it was packed. Of course, it helped we were really good, but in the excitement of a new stadium. And then my senior year, it started to dwindle and everybody moved up to the hill. It's like, fuck. You got all those bleachers, unless you're like elderly or something, or handicapped, stay up there.
You know that you can get underneath the bleachers on the other side?
Yeah.
My dad last year dropped his cell phone, and it just, that crack was this big. Fell through that
right
crack
through.
with that, and I had to get in there. There's like this much room
Yep.
of mud, the bleachers. You literally lay on your stomach and crawl all the way up.
I got under there 3 years ago when we were starting this. I was trying to see if I could lay some line where we could get cameras down there on the track. I mean, we could have. I wasn't interested in doing it.
Well, the funniest, now that I'm almost 10 years out of high school, I don't care to tell him this, that he's an employee. We got back from a baseball game in Farmington, we got rained out, and once we got back to Gravette, it cleared up, and we just left from the high school. And his name was Travis Heath, he was our fullback, and he played baseball. The field house wasn't there. And I mean, there was you couldn't, unless you were right on top of the football field, you didn't see the field or anything else.
Yeah.
We're like, hey Travis, we dare you, like we'll give you $20 a piece if you run a lap naked around the track. Boom! There was a turtle there. He jumped in his baseball socks. Upside down. We're like, so he crawled in that space right there. We left him there. We left him there for like 2 hours. he got ice cream. He's like, this is some ice cream, guys. This is some ice cream, guys. Do you remember Travis at all? He's a big dude. No, he was, well, your first year there was my senior year. So.
I remember, I don't remember any of those seniors.
It was like,
What name there was that?
he was Shelby, what's her name? Shelby Goff's class.
I remember Frankie something.
Frankie Walburn.
Yeah, I remember Frankie.
Okay, maybe your first year was my junior year. Because Frankie was a year ahead of me.
Yeah, he was a senior my first year.
Okay, alright, so you got there my junior year.
Shelby Goff, that class was a year after you. Yes. So, yeah, I had them for 3 years.
Yeah, that was one of the highlights of my junior year. That was the year I broke my leg in the playoffs. And so I'm like, I'm not going down there. So I showed up and we're down there. The best part is he sprinted back up to my car and there was no room in there for the cab. I got to get in the trunk. We drove around town for like 2 hours with him in the trunk.
That sounds like he was a big boy.
But yeah,
It wasn't like you were picking on one of the like,
Right.
the less popular. He probably tells people that story all the time. Yeah.
I know.
Increasing your life.
All right.
All right, we welcome you back here. About 2 minutes to go before the second half kicks off. Gravette did win the toss and deferred to the second half, so Gravette will receive. If you're just now tuning in, Gravette does hold a 20-0 lead over the Wolves. Coming out into the second half. The biggest thing, if you want to take anything away from the first half, Grayson, Gravette needs to eliminate the penalties. Those negate a lot of things, takes away a lot of big plays, and ultimately turns into a momentum killer.
Yep. And also it looked like, close to the end of that quarter, the last quarter, it seemed like they got a little sloppy. It might be because, most of them haven't, been out of the game, so they might be getting a little tired, but hoping that, in the locker room they had a good rest, will definitely help them that.
Another positive, though, to take away from that first half, Gravette, something that they haven't necessarily done the first 3 weeks of the season, running the football in between the tackles and actually picking up good yardage along the way as well, and then setting up that outside play, allowing O'Brien, a lot of times that quick little pop screen, Coach Harrelson likes to call it, and letting him work out in space on one-on-one with that corner.
That definitely puts a lot of pressure on the offensive line to, be sure they're on their blocks, be sure they stay consistent. I think they did an exceptional job, in the first half.
Yeah. So just continue to do that and put more points up on the board. Keep Lincoln off the scoreboard. So second half, ball teed up, and it is away. It's going to be fielded by Brandon Ballard at about the 20-yard line. He's going to scoop it up. He's going to be brought down about the 33, 34-yard line. So Gravette's offense start the second half. So here we go. Gravette's first offensive possession in the second half. Robert's going to come out in shotgun. He's going to have trips to his right. Deaton, the H-back in the backfield with him. He's going to motion O'Brien from left to right. He's going to give it to O'Brien on the little sweep. O'Brien's going to make a couple of men miss. Got a head of steam going downhill. He's going to stumble a little bit, regain his balance, spin. Reverse fill. O'Brien still on his feet. Still on his feet. O'Brien is going to be brought down about the 1-yard line for the Lions.
Absolutely amazing. Austin O'Brien, no stopping there. So much momentum during that. You know, it looked like for a couple seconds that he was going to, you know, just completely fall over. But, you know, as he's so good with, you know, with staying up on his feet, you know, that was a great job of, you know, staying up on his feet, you know, getting back, you know, into, you know, running. Definitely, you know, that juke definitely helped that out. That was a beautiful, beautiful play.
So Austin O'Brien showcasing his athletic ability there on that first play in the second half.
That's definitely a way to come out in the
So Gravette's going to come out in the I formation. Oh, Robert's going to take the snap, take it in himself. So 2 plays and Gravette's on the board.
That is
already in the second half.
Definitely the way to come out in the second half and definitely show, you know, that we're here to win. You know, definitely.
So Roberts takes it himself on the quarterback sneak. 29 seconds run off the clock in the second half, and Childress awaits his PAT.
Tell you that's definitely going in a highlight reel.
If only could have just got that one little yard. Childress's kick is up. And it's going to be wide right this time. So Gravette puts 6 up on the board. Once again, 29 seconds run off in the third quarter, and Gravette has a 26-0 lead here on Lincoln.
I think that's going to be talked about for a little bit, because that was some athletic ability right there.
Yeah. That's one of those plays where you don't see him often, and kind of moves in slow motion as a spectator because you're wanting to continue on. So Childress teeing the ball up, kick it away to the Wolves. Number 1, Sterling Morphus over here for Lincoln. He's a sophomore quarterback taking snaps. I'm real sure Harrison Swain was a little banged up on that sack by Soule. Childress's kick is away. It's going to be fielded inside the 10-yard line. He's going to run into a mess of Lions there. Then he's going to bounce out again. But he's not going to get away from that second group.
You know, that was definitely, I was looking over there, Mason Martinez looked like he got knocked down, but he definitely got back up and definitely came back, you know, to finish that tackle off.
It appears Swain, though, is going to go back in at quarterback. That's just precaution in case he can't handle whatever injury it was that occurred in the first half. So he's going to come out in shotgun. He's going to have Lloyd lined up next to him. Twins to the top of your screen. He's going to take the snap, hand it off to Lloyd. And Lloyd's going to pick up maybe 1 yard on that run.
You know, it looked like for me, one of the Wolves linemen was holding Drew Hendren there for a couple seconds.
It's a lot easier to see everything from up top. That is sure.
Yeah.
So call it 2nd and 9 for the Wolves here. Swain's going to come out in a pistol set. Two receivers to the bottom of your screen. He's going to hand it off. I believe that is number 33 this time. That is Crittenden, his fullback. Him and Lloyd kind of swap spots there. It's going to pick up about 4 for the Wolves. That'll bring up third down. It's third down for the Wolves. Swain checking with his line. Play clock now at 10. Crittenden's going to motion to the side of him. Then he's going to send Lloyd from left to right. Swain's going to take the snap. Hand it to Crittenden. Crittenden's going to put his shoulder down. Depending on the spot, looks like he's going to be a little short. Kinder and Teichman there on the stop for the Lions. So it appears the Wolves are going to go for it on fourth down here. Possibly try to draw the Gravette defense offsides. He's going to take the snap, hand it right back off to Crittenden. Crittenden's going to be stopped, though, in the backfield by, I believe that was Drew Hendren, the first man on him.
You know, for a second there, it looked like Drew Hendren got him turned around a little. It might have looked like a little horse collar, but definitely it wasn't, surprisingly.
Good job right there by Hendren.
Does look like he's a little banged up on that.
It appears the referees are going to take a timeout here. They're going to bring the chains out to look. Kind of a favorable spot for Lincoln. Just have to wait and see. From where we are at the angle, it looks like he will be short. So while we wait on the chains to come out, second half, once again, thanks to our sponsors, the Gravette Athletic Booster Club, our best bank of Gravette. And it is going to be inches short. So Lincoln's going to turn the ball over to Gravette on downs.
You know, it looks like, you know, Drew Hendren with a little banged up. You know, even though we're in offense right now, it's really going to, you know, play something. I know he had a knee injury, you know, a while back, so.
It's not panning out. Said you can't see anything but the lineman. I don't know. So Roberts under center. He's going to send Deaton in motion from right to left. He's going to open it up, hand the ball off to O'Brien. O'Brien lowers his shoulder, runs one man over, carrying the pile. Austin O'Brien.
He is just going at it tonight. Definitely, I think he wants that Hungry Man award.
So a good pickup once again by O'Brien, just keeping his feet moving. Ran a man over there as well. So Groover's going to check into the backfield now for the Lions. Going to come out in a strong set. Roberts under center. Going to open up, pitch the ball to Groover. Groover looking to get outside. He's going to get a little bit of room. Stiff arm. Falls forward.
You know, that's a really good. The really good thing about Groover is, you know, he likes to run outside so he can get, you know, some momentum going. And when he goes downfield, you know, just like that right there, he stiff arms. You know, he can take a hit and he can definitely deliver a hit. It's like Aaron Campbell coming in.
Aaron Campbell going to join Roberts in the backfield. Deaton the H-back. He's going to have twins to the top of your screen. Martinez, solo receiver at the bottom. He's going to hand the ball off to Campbell. Campbell's going to blower his head. Pick up a good chunk of yards there.
You know, I think since, you know, we're up 26-0, you know, Coach Harrelson definitely is trying to, you know, send in some, send in some other, players to get some time in, get the feel of, how it's going so far.
Whistle on the play. Pick up a towel off the field. Roberts picking his towel up and tucking it back into his belt. Robertson pistol, that's Groover behind him. He's going to hand the ball off to Groover. Groover's going to cut, lower his head. He's going to have a first down for the Lions.
He definitely bolted out of there.
Yep. Groover showing a little bolt of speed. His first initial steps.
Yep. Yeah, that's what I always remember on Friday nights. I always got that little, adrenaline boost. It, made me run a little bit faster than it may seem to this day.
So first down and goal for Gravette from about the 6-yard line. Roberts is going to be in shotgun formation. Going to take the snap, hand it right back off to Groover. Groover's going to take it inside the 5-yard line, be down at about the 3.
I ran this whole series.
So 2nd and 3 to go. Second goal, I should say. Roberts under center, Groover. He's going to motion Deaton from right to left. He's going to open up, hand it off to Groover. Groover's going to try to get in, but he's going to be stopped a little bit short. Possibly a gain of 1 there, and that's going to bring up 3rd down for Gravette. Here's right there, Groover. A little high, trying to run through that initial line of scrimmage. He's get that shoulders down and use that lower center of gravity he has, keep the legs moving.
Especially with, he's also very fast. If he gets his lower, gets his shoulders lower, could definitely blow through, 2 or 3 guys, and possibly get the touchdown.
Those legs keep moving. He's going to be tough to bring down. Robert's going to come out in a strong set. He's got Mormon to the top, Martinez to the bottom. Going to open up, hand it off to Groover again. And Piers Groover is going to be about 1 yard short again.
I'm not surprised at this point if just don't go for a quarterback keep to let Kilby, run it in for a touchdown.
I'd say either a quarterback keep or they're going to run Bailey Soule out there, but it appears he's going to keep that same personnel out there and going to go for it on 4th and inches. Roberts going to stay in that strong set. He's up on the line. He's going to take the snap. And it appears there's still no signal yet. There it is.
There it is.
Say, it looked like he got that 6-foot frame over the goal line there. Just took the ref a little bit to put him up. So with that, 5:37 remaining in the 3rd quarter. Depending on the PAT, it's Gravette 32, Lincoln 0.
This is honestly, a great way to start off the conference, like I've said, a couple times tonight. But we've definitely, I knew we were going to win, but we definitely exceeded what I thought we were going to do. Coach Harrelson obviously has been working, them very, very hard.
Holds down, kick is up, and this time Childress is right down the middle once again. So that'll put the lead at Gravette 33, Lincoln 0. 2 points away from the sportsmanship mercy rule.
And I don't doubt that at this point Coach Harrelson might send in another string to give the first strings on offense and defense a little break.
Good opportunity when games like this happen to get guys those reps in.
Yep.
Because you never know when your number might be called in a close game.
Yep. Especially when during practice they're really just scout dummies, for the coaches to see who's improved. But this is the final point, when we're up this much, it's down to them really wanting it, really wanting to improve, and definitely show the coaches that they've improved also.
Childress has the ball teed up. Childress's kick is going to be fielded this time inside the 10-yard line once again. I believe that's going to be number 44. I believe that's Lloyd. He's going to get Good return for the Wolves. Colton Grimes is going to run him out of bounds about the 32. Lincoln will take over from there.
Coach Hilton, I filmed that last trip on defense. That last series was filmed on defense.
Now Lincoln does have a new quarterback this time. That's number 1.
Coach Hilton's trying to look at this.
Sterling Morphus.
I filmed that last series.
He's going to hand it off to Lloyd this time for a short gain. So that'll bring up second down for the Wolves. Second and 9 for the Wolves. Morph is going to be in shotgun. 2 receivers at the bottom. He's going to hand it off to, I believe that's number 7, Jacob Anderson. Going to be stopped by Childress, Teichman, and Berger. That'll bring up third down for the Wolves. Call it 3rd and 6 here for the Wolves. Morgan's going to come out in shotgun, twins to each side. He's going to play fake to his running back. Now he's going to try to reverse field, trying to get away. Throws the ball away.
You know, to me it looked like there was, Wolves all over the field on that play right there. Didn't look like they knew what was going on, really.
So that'll bring up 4th down for the Wolves. Didn't really have a receiver in the area, but no grounding called. Regardless, it brings up 4th down for the Wolves, so the Lions will receive after this punt.
Tajay White in at receiver for the punt. Tajay is very fast from what I've seen. Me and him are really good friends, so I'm really hoping to see what he does right here. He's a sophomore this year also.
So number 12, Sajay White, back deep to receive the punt for the Lions. He's not going to get he's going to touch the ball. It's going to be muffed. Couldn't make up his mind on what he wanted to do. He was yelling Peter, and at the last second ran up and touched it. So Lincoln recovers. And that'll put them at about their own, or in the Gravette, about the Gravette 20-yard line.
That's always a hard call to make when it's out that far, especially when it bounces once, whether you should go and call it a fair catch and let them get it or go for it,
So Gravette defense back out on the field. Morvis remains the quarterback for the Wolves. 1st and 10 from the 21. He's going to have twins to the top of your screen. Single back. He's going to hand it off to his back. That is Crittenden. He's going to pick up about 1. So Lincoln, not much success running the football tonight. Outside of 2 plays, possibly that went for maybe 8 to 10 yards. So Morvis back in a kind of a pistol set. Crittenden's going to move to his side. H-back Lloyd is going to go in motion. He's going to hand the ball off to Crittenden again. Crittenden's going to try to make a cut and lose his footing.
He got tripped up on himself there.
Lost his footing there on his initial cut. Call it maybe a gain of 1 for the Wolves, so it's going to bring up 3rd down once again. So 2:40 remaining in the 3rd quarter. Third down for the Wolves. Gravette still ahead 33-0. Morrison shotgun. He's going to take the snap, play action. Grimes going to come in pursuit. There's going to be a collision, and it appears it's going to be caught by the Wolves.
You know, looked like the impact on that really got him to secure the hit. You know, knocked him down too.
Morphus just kind of threw up a prayer there, and his prayer was answered by one of his receivers coming in and making the catch. There's a big jumble of Lincoln and Gravette defenders there, and his man came down with the football.
You know, and if anything, if he didn't have a good hold of the ball, that collision could have knocked the ball out. You know, possibly one of our, you know, defensive players could have caught that.
So Morphus under center this time. One receiver to the bottom of your screen. Come out in I formation. He's going to fumble the snap. Crittenden's going to try to get what he can, but he's wrapped up.
It's like Bailey Soule just threw him out of there.
I believe that was Gunnar Berger on the initial contact, and he held on, took him to the ground. So second down here for the Wolves after that first down pass completion. Morvis going to be back under center. One tight end to his right, I formation, one receiver at the bottom of your screen. He's going to mishandle the snap again, but almost gets back to the initial line of scrimmage before being ran down by White.
See, that's what I'm talking, you know, Tajay with his speed, you know, and definitely, you know, with his misread on that punt return, definitely, you know, probably brought some, you know, fuel into him to, you know, maybe make up for it, you know, even though, you know, he's a sophomore, you know, he still has 2 more years. So hopefully, you know, coach is looking at him still. You know, he's a great player.
So Lincoln back in that same I formation, one tight end, one receiver to the bottom of the screen. Morris is going to look that way to throw him the football, and it's going to be behind his intended receiver. Coverage by Austin O'Brien.
I'm going to guess they might go for a punt here, if anything.
I imagine Lincoln will probably just keep their offense on the field,
Wait,
try to put 6
punt?
on the board.
Did I say punt?
You did say punt.
I meant to say field
It's all right.
goal.
You even make mistakes up here.
Don't even know what I'm thinking.
So fourth down and 12 for the Wolves. And they're going to come back in that I formation, double tight set. He's going to look to that solo receiver side, and it's going to be way overthrown. So Gravette will take over on downs.
You know, and if we've had the offensive, you know, intensity that we've had tonight, you know, we could go into the sportsman mercy rule for the rest of the second half.
One more score will put that sportsmanship mercy rule. Into effect for Gravette. So Robert's still in the game. Deaton in the backfield with him. He's going to take the snap, hand the ball off to Deaton. He's going to put his shoulder down and pick up about 3 for the Lions. See, Gravette won't move with a fast pace here, probably trying to get a lot of new guys in there. That was Roberts. Appears to be Roberts' last snap on the offensive side of the ball tonight. That's going to be Tajay White taking over now at quarterback. Coach Harrelson looks at White and tells him to let the clock run out and get to the fourth quarter. So that will bring us to the end of the third. Gravette has a second and about 6, and they also have a 33-0 lead over the Wolves when we come back. So to start the fourth quarter, the ball will now swap sides of the field. As mentioned earlier, number 12, Tajay White, now in at quarterback for Gravette.
You know, that's a good thing. It's definitely time to be able to show what, you know, the other players besides the starters are made of.
White's going to take the snap, and he's going to hand it off to number 20.
Aaron Campbell.
That's Aaron Campbell.
It was definitely a fast break between White and Campbell there on the snap.
Campbell showing a little bit of burst there. It's going to be enough to move the sticks. No, Gravette will come out in an I formation. That's Campbell in the backfield still. Grimes is your fullback. He's going to take the sweep pitch, try to get outside. He's going to be tripped up for a loss there. So loss of 2 for Gravette. Call it second down. Gravette back in the I formation. Twins to the bottom of the screen. White's going to take the snap, hand it back off to Campbell. Looks like Campbell's going to get it back to the initial line of scrimmage. It'll be third down. So 3rd and 9 here for the Lions. White's going to have trips to the bottom of his screen, so to his right. He's going to take the snap. He's going to try to roll that way. It appears he's going to keep it all the way, showing a little bit of speed, lowers his shoulder.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. You know, his speed, you know, he can obviously hit after what I've seen there.
He's going to have enough for a first down as well.
Yep.
Good job by Tajay White. Like you said, using that speed, tucking the ball, getting to the sideline.
You know, that's a good thing that I've always liked about, you know, the way Coach Harrelson plays. He puts so many different players at a different position so he can find out, you know, which position they're good at. You know, maybe if, you know, someone's hurt or they want to sub in, you know, they can definitely just pull someone randomly out that Coach Harrelson knows they can play that position. You just put them right in.
And this is also good for White, like you're saying. You know, he's learning the offense from the quarterback position, so therefore he's going to know what everybody's going to be doing eventually. This time he's in shotgun. He's going to have motion from right to left. He's going to hand it off on the sweep, looking for some room to get upfield. He's going to pick up about 3 yards before he runs into a pile of Wolves. That's Cravens on the carry for the Lions.
You know, Derek's really fast here. You know, he runs track, so, you know, that definitely plays into this right here.
Let's pick up about 3 for the Lions. Call it second down. Campbell now back in the backfield with White. Shotgun formation, twins to the bottom of your screen. Going to take it, hand it off to Campbell. Campbell's going to try to keep his feet moving, a little second effort. He's going to pick up about 2 or 3 more yards for the Lions.
You know, so far it seems like the subs for the starters are actually, you know, doing pretty well so far. Definitely, I think they're impressing Coach Harrelson, you know, to this point, so.
Get those guys in there, get reps in case they're ever needed later in the year. So White comes out in like a weak formation. Grimes is fullback. He's going to hand it off to Grimes. Grimes is going to kind of dance around before getting upfield. He's going to pick up about 2, so that'll bring up 4th down. Gravette's going to run their punt team out onto the field, punt it away to the Wolves. Nice, cool night here in Lincoln tonight. Great night for football. Gravette's going to have to take a timeout to get the punt team out on the field. They were 2 men short that time, I believe. I just counted 9 men on the field.
You know, I think going from last week, where Coach Harrelson, I think, burned out all his timeouts. Definitely, you know, we're getting better about, you know, being sure everyone's on the field. So, you know, conserving timeouts when we actually need them.
It's one of those things, you know, a game like this where you are beating your opponent by a pretty good margin. It's important for those guys still to stay focused in the game. Something like that where your punt team needs to come out on the field, have your helmet in your hand, ready to go.
You know what I mean? I think that's what was happening in the first half. You know, close to the end, they kind of got the mentality that, you know, we're up pretty high. You know, there's no way they could come back. But I've seen people come back, you know, even farther back than this. That you know, the Wolves are at this point right now.
So it appears Gravette has now all 11 men on the field. Roberts back deep to punt. Roberts gets the punt away. Lincoln's going to let it take a bounce, and it's going to be down inside the 20, about the 16-yard line. So Lincoln will take over from there with 7:36 remaining in the game. It's still your Lions 33, Wolves 0.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Coach Harrelson having different players play different positions. I saw Bailey Soule on the deep snap there, you know.
First and 10 for Lincoln, about the 16-yard line. Morvis still your quarterback. He's going to be in a shotgun formation. Twins to his right. He's going to take the snap, hand it off to number 7. That's Jacob Anderson. He's going to pick up about 6 or 7 for the Wolves.
It's like Tajay White coming back in at safety.
Tajay did a great job first 3 weeks filling in for Childress.
Yep.
And whenever he was running in and out, swapping, I believe that was Brady Mormon, they were kind of swapping out positions those first 3 weeks. 2nd and 3 here for the Wolves. Morvis back in shotgun. He's going to hand it back off to his tailback.
74, Dakota Lemons looked like he jumped a little too far upfield there. Missed the tackle.
And that was number 7, Jacob Anderson, on the carry for Lincoln. So 3rd and 1 here coming up for the Wolves. Game clock now at 6 minutes and 10 seconds, about the time this ball is snapped. Morvis in shotgun. He's going to motion his back ahead of him. Morvis is going to fake the ball to him on a little counter. He's going to have a little bit of room to run before he's chased down by the Gravette defense. So that'll be enough to move the sticks. Lincoln has a new set of downs. Morvis back in shotgun. He's got Twins to his left. Going to take the snap. Handoff's going to be mishandled, and I believe Gravette's going to jump on the football. I think that was 74.
Yeah.
On the recovery, I believe that's Lemons.
You know, that's the good thing about, you know, Dakota is he's very, you know, he's very passionate about the game. He's very aggressive, you know, on the field when I was playing with him. So, you know, definitely going out there on defense. You know, he's a defensive person. You know, he definitely doesn't get much playing time. But, you know, that right there, you know, shows, you know, how much you want it, you know, how much you want to win, how much you want to play.
So Roberto Barrios checking in at running back next to Tajay White. White's going to take the snap. He's going to fake it to Barrios. Not going to have anywhere to go. He's going to be thrown down for a loss of about 4.
It didn't look like Tajay had very much room there to go anywhere on that one.
Once it, now you go back to it, grab it up big. Lincoln probably still has a lot of their starters in.
Yeah.
Gravette getting those second string guys their reps.
You know, it's definitely good to work against, you know, someone that, you know, plays from, you know, first to fourth quarter, you know, giving yourself a little bit of a challenge on that.
So second and about 14 for the Lions. White's going to have motion from his right to left. There's going to be a flag on the play. So timing a little off here with the backups going on. So that'll back Gravette up 5 more yards. Now it is about 2nd and 20.
Yeah, that's the thing with, you know, the subs is they don't get much time. So, you know, especially in practice too, so you don't have enough time to, you know, work on this type of stuff. So, you know, this is the point where they have to work on it.
So White's going to motion from right to left, hand the ball off to Barrios. Barrios is going to lose about 1 yard on the play. So that'll be 3rd down and about 22 to go. Game clock now at 4 minutes. So White's going to come back out in shotgun. He's going to have trips to his right. He's going to take the snap. He looks like he's going to tuck it and run it himself. Got a couple of blocks, using his speed a little bit. He's going to be thrown out of bounds. Gain of about 13 for Gravette. So it'll be 4th down. Good run by White.
You know, and I think definitely for Coach Harrelson that shows, you know, the real potential of Tajay. You know, he probably, you know, I bet he runs, you know, plays in practice, you know, but it definitely helps to have it in real time, you know.
Yeah. Tajay a transfer in from Decatur, so still learning the system. On 4th down, he's going to have trips to his left. This time they're going to try to sweep to the left side. Why not? Tajay's going to reverse field, dance around a little bit, looking for a couple of blocks, and he's got the speed and the 1st down.
That was absolutely beautiful. You know, again, I'm going to go back to his speed. You know, his feet work on that was absolutely, you know, he, you know, look, confused me a little bit which way he was going to go, and then honestly.
So good job by Tajay White, keeping his feet moving and looking for holes and being patient for his blockers. Two minutes, 50 seconds remaining in the game. This time White will be back under center. Barrios, your running back. Play clock is under 10. White's going to hand the ball off to Barrios.
Looks like he gets hit in the leg and goes down. Tripped up on himself too a little.
Barrios gets back to line of scrimmage. So 2nd down for the Lions. Barrios under center. He's got trips to his left. Excuse me, that's White. He's going to pitch the ball to Barrios. Barrios is going to get a little momentum going, get upfield. This time he's got to run for positive yardage.
You know, that's a good thing that, you know, Gravette, we have really, you know, I mean, we have big running backs, but we also have, you know, very fast running backs that, you know, aren't very, you know, big in size, but, you know, they definitely are fast. They definitely stay on their feet. You know, Tajay White, you know, Roberto Barrios, Brady Mormon, definitely, you know, all of them are very small, but they're able to stay up on their feet, you know, for as long as they can.
Not the biggest in stature, but have a lot of fight in them. So 3rd down and call it a long 4 here for Gravette. White's going to have motion from his left to right. He's going to pitch that ball off, looking to get to the outside. There is a flag on the play. That'll probably negate the gain by Eaton. So we'll wait and see what the call is.
Looks like it's against the Lions. Holding.
So we'll be holding against the Lions. Back them up 10 yards. Game clock at 1 minute, 10 seconds, and is rolling. So White will be under center this time. He's got trips to his left. Going to take the snap, pitch the ball off to Barrios. Barrios looking to get outside. He's going to cut it up. Pick up about 4. That puts the game clock under 1 minute. So that brings up 4th down for Gravette. Clock running. Now under 40 seconds.
It's like Coach Harrelson might just run the clock out.
Yeah. Gravette will have to run a play, I believe. White's going to mishandle the snap there, and Lincoln will take over right there. So Gravette's going to start off conference play 1-0. Next week, you look at it now. Don't necessarily want to call it the gauntlet, but you've got two pretty good opponents coming in. Gravette finally gets to play a home game next week.
Yep, definitely.
Prairie Grove Tigers come to town. As you know, Prairie Grove is the defending conference champion, state runner-up to Nashville last year. It's always one of those things. Coach Apsher will have his team well prepared. So Gravette will build off this, and
you know, it's definitely a good start to have a blowout game for the first conference game. You know, especially showing that, you know, not only the starters can play, but also the second string can play very well, you know, perform, you know, under pressure. You know, even though we had a little bit of trip-ups, you know, maybe cut down on the penalties a little. There weren't many tonight, but, you know, that is something we need to work on.
Right.
You know, overall, I think, you know, we definitely did, you know, probably the best that I've seen, you know, this season. You know, Coach Harrelson definitely learned some things from watching film and, you know, applied it to practice. You know, definitely worked them hard enough to, you know, achieve this 33-0 victory that I believe was well earned.
Yeah. Especially coming on the road, pitching a shutout in a conference game. You know, that's always huge. You know, defense played great tonight, but one thing, you know, you do have to take away going into these next couple of weeks are just to come.
Yeah.
So next week, Gravette will host Prairie Grove in Gravette, finally after being on the road for 3 weeks. So from tonight in Lincoln, Gravette will get out of here with a 33-0 win. We appreciate everybody tuning in tonight if you could not join us here in Lincoln. So next week, it is a home game. We expect to see you there. For the people that will be out of town, once again, you can always join us. Huge thanks to the Gravette Athletic Booster Club and Arvest Bank in Gravette. So for Ethan McKenzie and Grayson Brown, we will see you guys next week in Gravette.